What's up, my content connoisseurs? It's Cody. Today, we're going to be taking a look at The Rise of Skywalker, the Star Wars Episode 9, the ending to the Skywalker Saga. So, let's dive on in. It's a movie. So, The Rise of Skywalker is a movie. I don't know where to start. I don't. So, there's a lot that this movie wanted to do that it accomplished, but not in a good way. So, alright. Okay, so, like I said, The Rise of Skywalker sets out to try and do something, and that's to both end an entire saga, the Skywalker Saga, from Episode 1 up till now, Episode 9. And it's also trying to fix the narrative mess that was left over from Episode 7 into 8 into 9, while also trying to finish out a story that was never really set up from the previous two films. Like, it just feels extremely disconnected from the previous ones. So, at the beginning of the title crawl, we find out that Rey's in training. The other characters are out to set to find out how Palpatine's returned. And then Kylo Ren is out looking for the Phantom Emperor. That's interesting. It was an interesting title crawl. Usually we don't get anything like that, and then it leads from that into a montage of Kylo Ren just kind of trying to find and locate the Emperor, which he does in the first 5-10 minutes of the film. And then it goes and it leaps from that into this I can't even say that these are A-B plots. It's just here's one plot, here's the other plot, and it's supposed to be in the same. Usually if a movie does an A-B plot, they have a resolution at the end that makes sense. This one, like I said, it accomplishes what it set out to do, but it's not a good it's narratively messy. It is distractingly bad. So, visually and audio-wise, the film is fantastic. Like I said, the sets and the costume designs are awesome. The music, John Williams, as always, does fantastic. There was even kind of a very eerie play to the Imperial March, which I kind of like. And that's a hugely iconic song. A lot of people associate it as Vader's theme song, or as it's more commonly known, the Imperial March. But there's kind of an eerie point to it later on, but that's all I can really take as positive merits from the film are the music and the set/costume designs. But oh my god, it is a mess. It is terrifyingly bad. There's just so much rushed in this film that it feels like one of those really short plots that could have been a standalone film. But we know it's not. It's a part of a trilogy it's the sequel trilogy that's trying to set out to end the Skywalker Saga and conclude everything, but we didn't need a conclusion to the story that we already had a conclusion to at the end of Return of the Jedi. But, so, like I said, it starts out with, the montage of Kylo trying to find the Emperor. He finds him, and then you've got Poe, Finn, Rey, BB-8, and I guess randomly R2-D2, C-3PO, and Chewbacca are now all with these guys, trying to set out to search for something to help them locate Palpatine as well, to try and defeat him. And it's just like, it's weird. It's like somebody's constantly flipping a coin in the air where you see the good, the heads, and then the bad, the tails. Just trying to constantly revolve around this door to end up, getting to this final thing. And it just, when the coin finally lands, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even spin to kind of tell you, oh, what's it going to land on? Is it going to land on heads? Is it going to land on tails? It's flat. And when you pick it up, it's nothing. It's just blank. It's like, there's no heads, there's no tails. Well, damn, that's not good. So I don't know what to honestly say about it, other than narratively, it is a mess. The usage of the characters, at least, is really well done. I guess that's another positive that I like, is that when it brings all these characters back, Poe, Finn, Rey, and C-3PO, Chewie, R2-D2, etc., they actually utilize these characters better than they did in the previous two films. The Force Awakens didn't use Poe virtually at all. Rey and Finn were definitely there, but, they were kind of staunchly overwhelmed by the OT cast, with Leia, Han, and Chewie being there. And then in The Last Jedi, virtually nothing. Poe is there, but he's just kind of, narratively speaking, he doesn't do much. Rey's there, but narratively speaking, doesn't do much. Finn goes on this random, worthless adventure with Rose Tico, which sure, again, narratively doesn't do much. And then The Rise of Skywalker at least tries to utilize the characters narratively in a way that makes sense. And it falls flat. Horribly flat. So, the build-up to the Emperor, through all the trailers and all the Twitters and stuff, all the tweets and stuff, the leaks here and there, it was empty. By the end of the film, I was extremely disappointed, because here we are trying to end out a fantastic saga of characters that we have known, many people have known for over 40 years, since 1977, with the first release of Star Wars A New Hope. And the way it ends it's a whimpering end. It is not strong. It is extremely weak. It was a lackluster ending. And there's just nothing. When you go into a film, you go in for the sustenance, the atmosphere, and just overall enjoyment of a popcorn flick. And it doesn't even serve that. It leaves you empty. It leaves you kind of hungering for more. But at the same time, you're just full of this, like, filler. It's like trying to eat an entire bowl of just, like, celery. And then just, you're still hungry, but you don't want more because you just ate all the celery. It's just filler. There's no taste to it. It is flavorless. It is so jarringly bad that there is not much that people are going to take away from this. And there might be people that will defend it. There will be people that will defend it. Oh, it was built up from the beginning. JJ said that the Emperor is led up to from the beginning. That's, in all honesty, if you're going to tell yourself that, you're either completely blind by the narrative mess that was left over from the previous two films, or you're just trying to lie to yourself and tell yourself that this is a narratively good movie and that this was built up since the beginning. It wasn't. Just don't lie to yourself. It wasn't. You can blatantly see that The Last Jedi made a mess of The Force Awakens, and The Rise of Skywalker had to try and clean it all up. And it, like I said, it succeeded what it itself tried to do, but what it tried to do for the franchise overall, it did not succeed. It failed horrendously. If there's anything that I can take away from this, it's that I hope that, Disney plans out future trilogies of any kind of movie far better than this, because Disney has a fantastic track record. Look what they've done with the MCU. The Marvel Cinematic Universe might have its duds here and there, but overall, it ended on a glorious note, with Endgame. And it hasn't even been a full year yet, and people are still talking about it like it was just yesterday. I have these these pages on Facebook that I'll follow that just talk about Marvel, and a lot of people are still talking about how much they just loved Endgame, whereas nobody talks about The Last Jedi in a positive light. And I feel that this film is going to be the death of Star Wars media for a long time. So there will still be the video games and the comics, but any spin-off films, if Solo is anything to go by after the flop that was The Last Jedi, where they lost a lot of money, like what did it make, like 700 million net worth, like nationally, but Solo just tanked horribly. I personally enjoyed Solo. It was like a standalone kind of sci-fi flick, but I just think any spin-off films, if they are going to continue with these in the future, are looking really grim. There's just not much that can be taken away from these at this point. But that's pretty much all. There's not much I want to review about, because in the end, it's just a stale, massive nothing. That's all I can say, guys. But grab a popcorn, have a soda, press play for these reviews, guys. It's kind of a dud of an ending, but that is the Skywalker Saga in a nutshell. Have a great one.